Hare Krishna. It works. Yes, put some flashlight. Ah. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari 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 Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana 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 Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava 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 Kunja Bihari Hare Krišna Hare Krišna 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 Hare Hare Hare-rama Hare-rama Rama-rama Hare-hare Hare-krishna Hare-krishna Krishna-krishna Hare-hare 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 Hare-rama Hare-rama Rama-rama Hare-hare Jaya Pancha-tattva 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 Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai 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 Jaya Gorani Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Nitai ki jai. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 12, Devotional Service, text number 3 and 4. We'll chant just text 3, which you have on the screen. So let's try the Sanskrit. Yet vaksharama nirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragama chintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam yet vaksharama nirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragama chintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam. Yet vaksharam nirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragama chintyancha kutastam achalam dhruvam. Vaksharam nirdesham sarvatragama chintyamcha kutastam achalam dhruvam. Okay, Matajis. Okay. Yeah, those who to but aksharam, that which is beyond the perception of the senses. Anirdesham, indefinite. Avyaktam, unmanifested. Paryupasate, completely engaged in worshipping. Sarvatragam, all-pervading. Achintyam, inconceivable. Cha, also. Kutastam, unchanging. Achalam, immovable. Dhruvam, fixed. Saniyamya, controlling. Indriyagramam, all the senses. Sarvatra, everywhere. Samabudayaha, equally disposed. Te, they. Prapnuvanti, achieve. Mam, me. Eva, certainly. Sarva Bhuta Hite, for the welfare of all living entities. Rataha, engaged. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Purport. Those who do not directly worship the Supreme Godhead Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the same goal by an indirect process, also ultimately achieve the same goal, Shri Krishna. After many births, the man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. When a person comes to full knowledge after many births, he surrenders unto Lord Krishna. If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he has to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna, otherwise there is no perfect realization. Often, there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him. In order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understanding that the Supreme Soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity, he sees no difference between man and animal, because he sees soul only, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namina Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishya Shashinavadi Pashyate Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare hare-rama, hare-rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a very interesting verse. First time when I read it, I was like, what? What is Krishna speaking here? And then it took me some time to realize from which angle Krishna says all these things. Because then I was like, oh, worshipping the impersonal, what's this? But it's actually from the angle that the Absolute Truth has three aspects. The impersonal, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And these are different aspects of the same Supreme. So, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, and this Brahman realization, this is also the platform for rendering devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Shojati Na Konshati Sarveshu Samazul Yad Bhaktim Parate Param. Okay, which says that from this platform of liberation from material conception, you can render devotional service. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada focuses more on the meditation on the super soul. And this is, for example, this is the goal of the yoga process. And but at the end of the process, in the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that for the common method, for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. Like also, there is one verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna uses this word very difficult. He uses the word duratyaya. He says, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Maya Duratyaya Mamevayev Prapadente Maya Metam Tarantite. So he says that this material energy is very hard to overcome. So what does this mean? Very hard means almost impossible. Practically in that part it means impossible. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was asked about this yoga process, he says that, yeah, this is practical for a few people. A few, like 5 people. And for the others, it's really not something that they can do. And all these things, all these processes are meant to finally get us to the point of devotional service. I met yesterday or the day before, I think yesterday, yeah. I was just going around in Sankirtan. And then I met one guy who was studying Jyotish. And he was studying Jyotish with some Indian guru. And it was really interesting to discuss with this guy. He told me that he's studying the cards of big personalities. And he started, I mean, I didn't start. But of course, I was wearing a dhoti, so he knew I'm a devotee. And he had some books. And he started telling me, oh, this card of Krishna, there are some signs where you can realize that he's an avatar. And this moon is in this house. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he also started saying, yeah, you know, and Rama also has a very interesting card, you know, like because this planet is there and this planet is there. I was like, yeah, and then and then I was like, okay, so if you know all this, did you hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that maybe he's also an avatar? He said, yes, we studied his card also. Yes, very nice. Yes, it's clear that he's an avatar. So he came. Okay, very, very nice. So then I was like, just putting forward the logical conclusion. So if he's an avatar and if you admit he's an avatar, why don't you surrender to him? Like, no, I mean, it's not logical. You know, you have an avatar who's coming and he gives some instruction. It's God, and you accept that he's God. Now, I mean, if you would study Jyotish and you know, like get to other conclusion, then okay, no problem. But he's studying and he says, okay, Lord Chaitanya is an avatar. So you accept he's God. He gives you some instruction. Why don't you follow him? And he said, oh, maybe at some point, you know. But that's actually how the whole Vedic culture works. That it gets you from this angle, from that angle, and it gets you to that point where you gradually understand, oh, I should surrender to Krishna. That's all. And that's why Krishna says here, at last achieves me. And like you have the traditional system, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the 4 goals of spiritual practice. And it starts with Dharma. You do your duty. And His Holiness Prahladananda Maharaj explains this in a very nice way. Like you don't know anything, and then you go to the Brahmanas, and then you find that there is such a thing as karma, and that if you want to live a happy life, there are some rules you have to follow. Yeah, you do this, you get this, you do that, you get that, and you start following. And then you say, and you see, whoa, it works. Or you find some Ayurvedic doctor, he gets your pulse, and he says, oh, you have this problem, you should eat this. And then you see it works. And then you have some faith in this person. And then you go and you say, oh, what else do you know? Do you know something more? I said, yeah, actually there is also next life. And in this life you can enjoy, you know, like a bit. This human form of life is not so nice. Many problems. You can get a beautiful wife. But, you know, but if you do these rituals and this and you worship demigods, you can become a demigod in next life. And then you can have an apsara. And practically you live forever compared to human life. So then people are more intelligent, then they get more faith in the brahmanas. You know, like, yeah. Okay, so they follow this and they become demigods and they come back, and they become demigods and come back, and then become demigods and come back, and so on, a few times. And after some times they go again to the brahmanas and yeah, you have something else? Yes, actually this is all suffering, but you can get liberation. Oh, okay. So gradually people are elevated like this, and the whole thing is that they eventually go to the brahmanas, and brahmanas they can tell him, actually the goal is to serve Krishna. And this system is working. I was going to say later, but even this bhakti process, it's working. I met this young man. He was practically homeless, and then he started chanting Hare Krishna. Somehow he got in contact with some devotees and started chanting Hare Krishna. And after a few years, this young man has a Porsche, Maserati, a big house, a nice girlfriend, like everything, everything he was supposed to desire. And while talking to him, you're like, and is it okay? Something's missing. So actually this whole system of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha is meant for this. Okay, you do your religious duty, you get some wealth, and then you can satisfy your desires. And then after you satisfy your desires, you'll see, are you happy? And then the answer, the sad answer, or the happy answer, is that no, you're not happy. Like you have all these celebrities. Sometimes there was this very well-known case of the lead singer from Linkin Park who committed suicide. So why did he commit suicide? Because he was too happy? No, of course not. So that's the whole Vedic system. That okay, you satisfy your desire, and then you see, oh, this is not working. Then okay, I have to get liberation from this material world. So that's the person. And this Jyotish, I mean, it was really nice to see this guy because he was really intelligent, and he understood. Okay, these are avatars. And he was chanting some Krishna mantras. Anyway, but still he realized that, okay, the output of Jyotish is that you have to surrender to Krishna. If you really understand Jyotish, then you have to surrender to Krishna. You understand, oh, Krishna is an avatar, Krishna is God, okay. Yeah. So there are more processes, like there is the direct process and there is the indirect process. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks about meditation on the super soul. Nowadays, this Ashtanga yoga is very popular in the West. But if you look at the real process behind Ashtanga yoga, you'll see that it's really, for the common man, it is very difficult. Yeah, because this, Ojashvi Prabhu started a bit speaking about this, so I was inspired to speak a bit more on this. So this Ashtanga yoga process, it means Ashtanga means 8 limbs. It's in 8 steps. So first step is yama. So before, nowadays in the West, people are they know about asana and pranayama. That's what and they do some sort of meditation. Anyway, well, but originally before asana and pranayama, there are 2 steps, which people somehow forget about them. You know, like, and it starts with yama. Yama is somehow external, code of conduct externally, how to conduct. And it starts with ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. Means that you have to be vegetarian. So if you look, most of, I don't know here, probably it's similar, but in Romania, half of the yoga teachers are not vegetarian. I don't speak about yoga practitioners. You know, like I don't speak the one who's just coming in the yoga studio and, you know, like, yeah. No, I speak about yoga teachers. So half of them are not vegetarian. Anyway. So then ahimsa, then satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-stealing. Oh, brahmacharya. Yeah, brahmacharya means that in a larger sense means control of the senses. In a stricter sense, in a more specific sense, it means control of the sexual energy. Tough stuff. And aparigraha, which means non-possessiveness. It doesn't mean that you don't have anything. It means that you understand that everything belongs to Krishna eventually. And so this is the yamas. And then there's the niyamas, which is some internal conduct, which starts with cleanliness, shaucha. And then santosha. Santosha means being content, satisfied with whatever comes on its own accord. Yeah, I have a big house, it's okay. I have a small house, it's okay. I have a small yoga, I have a simple yoga mat, it's okay. I have a fancy yoga mat, it's okay. like this. And then tapas, which means austerity. And then some very interesting things, which is, one is svadhyaya. So this means that there should be some study of the Vedic scriptures. So this yogis, the yogi should study the Vedic scriptures. And very interesting what they will find from the Vedic scriptures. They will find the object of the meditation. What should they meditate on? And then there's the next step in the niyamas, which means Ishvara Pranidhana. Pranidhana. So this is contemplation on the Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda. Yeah, Ishvara is Krishna. So they should meditate on Krishna. This is contemplation on Krishna. And then there is asana. Asana means physical posture. And it's very funny that Patanjali Muni defines asana that you have to sit comfortably. That's it, you know, that's the part in Yoga Sutra, that's what you find about asana. He doesn't say more, you know, like you have to sit somehow. That's it. And everything, all the asanas that were defined by, were more or less coming after. And then, pranayama, which is known as breath control, which is mostly control of pranic energy. And then very nice pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, which is somehow connected with sense control, which you learned from before. Because if you want to withdraw the senses, but the whole day you are agitating the senses, it's just not going to work, you know, like your whole day you're agitating the senses. oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. And then you'll sit 15 minutes for meditation and you will withdraw the senses. Then you will think, oh, shopping, oh, yes. What you will think in meditation. So then this withdrawal of the senses, and then you can meditate on what? Of course, on usually the yogis meditate on the super soul, or sometimes they meditate on some mantras. But eventually the purpose of meditation is to meditate on Krishna in some form or another, which is also something not so well known in the West. People think, oh, okay, I will meditate on the white wall, like, which can be a preliminary meditation. But the purpose is not that. The purpose is to disconnect from material energy and reconnect to spiritual energy, to Krishna eventually. So if you want to just disconnect without reconnecting, this is just partial. So and then the question is, the obvious thing is, why is it so hard, this process? This process is very hard because there is no enjoyment. Where is the fun? Because this process means that you have to withdraw from material energy and then start some meditation. And then, after many years of meditation, maybe you will get some spiritual experience, something. So you have to, people from the West, you have to give up all your pleasures. You have to give up meat eating, you have to give up alcohol, sex, everything. And then you will do some spiritual practice. And maybe after 20 years, you'll get something, if you're lucky. So that's why it's not really practical. I was just also walking and going in Sankirtan and discussing with people, and I met one monk. He said he's a monk, something like Buddhist or something like this, And then, of course, he was sitting at one table with one friend, and they were smoking some cigarettes. And then we discussed a bit, and he was he had some philosophical ideas. I don't remember what. I didn't take him too seriously. And then after some time, we met again, and then he said somehow he said he been to Radha Govinda, and then he said. Well, there's very good food, and then I invite him for a Sunday feast. Oh, I might come if it's good food. So you find that there's a very big difference between the philosophy and the practice. Like I also like to give this example of this Mayavadi teacher who was giving a class about how relationships are illusion. I told you before, and in this class, what was he doing? Obviously, he was having loving exchanges with his disciples. He was joking. he was like because it's not practical. Nobody really follows. So. Why it doesn't follow? And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that this kind of process is very hard. And he said, Vishaya vinivartate niraharasya dehinam rasavar jam rasavar param drishva nirvartate. He gives the solution. Yeah, you can try to detach from the object of the senses. So you can try, like probably I told you before, like I had a friend who I was doing Sankirtan, and we would meet from time to time, and he told me that he quit eating meat, and he's vegan, raw vegan, and so on. He doesn't even eat that and that, and we were like, okay, very. But then after some time, he just said, like sometimes I go in front of McDonald's, and then I go into McDonald's, and then I take something, and then when I go out, I'm again raw vegan. Why? Because it doesn't work. Because you don't lose the taste. The taste only you can only lose by getting a higher taste. So without this positive part, all these other processes are very, very hard. So that's why it's not practical. Nobody can follow these processes, because you have to disconnect, and then eventually. And the bhakti-yoga process is so nice that you just, you want to eat, we will stuff you with prasadam. Actually, this is our strategy. Someone comes first time, we just stuff him with prasadam. He will not understand so much philosophy, but he will remember, prasadam. How did I call him? Prasadam. So yeah, we're that's why this doesn't work. So, and all these are actually meant to get to the point of bhakti-yoga. And what this actually means is that bhakti-yoga includes everything already. So if you can follow bhakti-yoga, then you don't need anything else. Bhakti-yoga includes meditation. Like I was going sometimes to yoga studios and doing this program about meditation. So I was like getting a bit of Yoga Sutra, and then I would say, usually yogis meditate on something. We can meditate on some mantra, and then I would do a round of japa with them. It was like they didn't like kirtan, bhajan. It was a bit more difficult to explain, but this was really simple to explain. Okay, you want to do meditation? Okay, here's a meditation. Hare Krishna. Okay. But so this bhakti yoga is really topmost, and it includes everything. But it's somehow like university for spiritual sciences. And actually, Lord Chaitanya came and he signed us into university directly. Like you have a 7-year-old and you sign him directly into university. So like, okay, what do you want to study? Spiritual science? Yes. Okay, we'll sign you directly. First year of university. Chant Hare Krishna. And this is very nice. I mean, of course, this is huge mercy. But this comes with some problems. Because you might not even be able to write if you go to university. And sometimes it's good to see what was before university. Not so much in all the details, but understand the basic concepts. Like, for example, karma. It's okay, you come and you chant Hare Krishna, but it's good that we also understand, what we are doing, there are some effects. You can chant Hare Krishna, but if you're eating meat, there's some effects. And also alcohol, all this. Srila Prabhupada gave mostly these 4 regulative principles, but there are also details which have to take into account. And also another concept that we have hard time to to understand is dharma. Like, I have a duty. You know, in Bhagavad Gita starts from a certain point. Arjuna is never asking, "Oh, do I have a duty?" Krishna, really? You know, like he's telling me I'm a kshatriya and I have a duty as a kshatriya, and there's some superiors to me, you know. So yeah, that's why sometimes also Bhagavad Gita it's hard to understand, because we don't have the basic. We don't have what's here in Bhagavad Gita. We didn't study this. Because the whole, for example, the whole Mahabharata, there are many stories where they show that if you do your dharma, everything will go okay. And all you need to do is do your duty. Follow dharma and everything will be fine. Even if for some time, there's so many stories about people who follow dharma, they see there are some problems. Initially it seems that it's not working, but after some time you see, whoa, it's working. Actually, if you follow dharma, then you will see that. So this is some things which is good to know also. And also one thing is that the holy name is in Harinama Chintamani. Haridas Thakur says the holy name is Chintamani. So you can chant Hare Krishna in many ways, and you can get different results. You can chant Hare Krishna and get this Porsche and Maserati and this house. Krishna is God. So he can give you that. You can chant Hare Krishna and become a demigod in next life. You can chant Hare Krishna, and there's depending on what do we want. We can chant Hare Krishna and obtain that. Yes, and Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna gives few ways. He says in some parts, you do this, you get this. So I was talking with Bhakta Marco at some point, and he asked, we were discussing, and he put on the table a very nice question, which is, I mean, at least for me, it was like, what do you want? Because also you come to ISKCON, you can find many things, you know, like you want Ayurveda, you can find in ISKCON. You want to find some yoga, yes, you can find. You want to find controversy, oh yeah. You just find you find on the internet so many groups on ISKCON controversy, you know, like this spiritual master has done this, and we have seen this, and then like people who have nothing to do. Or you want politics? Yeah, sure. You want to see the faults in the devotees? Yeah, sure. You can do this. No problem. You want like Maharaj says, you want a wife, house, and a color TV? You might get it. You come to ISKCON, you chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna might give you a wife. So, and of course, you might, if you want some pure devotional service, you can find it also. You can find a way to how to serve Krishna, to fully surrender to Krishna, and go back home, back to Godhead. That's also available in ISKCON. So that's a really important question somehow. What do we want? Lord Chaitanya says he doesn't want wealth, he doesn't want followers, He doesn't want a nice wife. He just wants pure devotional service, life after life. So it might be that we didn't come for pure devotional service, like. But also you have Dhruva Maharaj who didn't come to Krishna consciousness to render pure devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj came to Krishna consciousness because he wanted a bigger kingdom than his grandfather. Yeah. So he didn't want devotional service. But after some times, he got purified and he said, he was, what's with this stupid thing? Why do I want this stupid thing? So his mind changed and he was thinking, oh, actually, serving Krishna is so nice. I don't want anything else. So Krishna recommends that we get to this point. And we should ask ourselves what we want. I mean, for me, it was really a good question. What do I want? Do I want that? And I got to the conclusion that at least I want to become a pure devotee. That probably I have also other desires. And but I wish that at some point I will become a pure devotee and I will be fully engaged in Krishna's service. And so this is what Krishna is proposing to us. That we try to get towards pure devotional service, and also that we give this to others. And also when we preach, we should at some point, maybe we can do like this, like. But at some point we should tell people who come to our programs that what we're actually giving to people is pure devotional service. That's what we're promoting, because that's what Srila Prabhupada came to bring to the West. And we should. This is. It's like if you work in a BMW shop. If you work for BMW and you want and you sell 100 Audis, then the owner, apparently they are quite rivals, BMW and Audi. And so if you work for BMW and you sell 100 Audi, then you would think, wow, I sold 100, wow, you seen one, yeah, that's it. But actually, what will the owner of BMW say? He'll like, no. He will just fire you, like, go away, you rascal. So similarly, we should, if we work in Srila Prabhupada's shop, it's interesting that we sell the products Srila Prabhupada wants to sell. So and as I heard this saying that if we hide Krishna. So sometimes we preach and we think like, oh, Krishna, as soon as I say Krishna, they will be like, run away. So just to sell everything, say everything from the philosophy, but not this Krishna part, like. So they say, there is this saying that if we hide Krishna, then Krishna will also hide from us. So, yeah. Okay, so what's the idea? I put it as, maybe we can take this as a meditation. Why are we in Krishna consciousness? So this is really interesting. Why we are in Krishna consciousness, and what are we offering to people? So, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much. If you have some comments, complaints, questions. Okay, thank you. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.